right. We're going to get started. Hey, Laura, when I get to that video, are you... Okay, great. So, tonight, we're going to spend most of our time actually working on your resume. If you already have a resume, that's great. This will be a great opportunity to review that with your allies and maybe make some updates, some revisions. We've got a lot of, great minds in the room. Always good to get feedback. So, but before we do that, I want to share some slides. I'm going to reorganize myself here. I'm going to share some slides from a guest speaker that we had come last year to just kind of give us a little bit of perspective and guidelines and some tools as we think about how to build our resumes. So we're going to start with a quick true or false. So I'm going to need some audience participation. All right. So this first bubble here, that's the first question we're gonna think about. So first of all, true or false, your GPA needs to be listed with your education on your resume. What do we think? A lot of false. Okay. You would be correct. Maybe in certain circumstances, depending on what you're applying for, maybe you would include that. But it's really not a common practice anymore. It's not necessary. It's not something to worry about. If you have a degree, typically that's what people are looking for. Okay, next question. You should write one resume that can be used for any job you apply for. What do we think? Okay, a lot of false again. A lot of negativity. Okay. So according to our guest speaker from last year, it's a trick question. It's kind of true, kind of false. So maybe you would have like a general resume that you create that you can then tailor to different jobs. That might be a good practice just to so you're not recreating the wheel every time, right? So there you go. And then the last one, on your resume, you should only list specific roles that were paid. What do we think? Yeah. There you go. False. So many things you could put, right? Skills, volunteer experience, participation in nonprofits like circles. Those could all be really great things to include on your resume, right? Okay. So everything's working good back here? Yeah. So these are some essential components that you'll probably want to make sure you have included in your resume. So obviously like work experience. These would be your paid jobs, include employer, location, length of time, education, high school, college, certifications you've gotten, trainings that you've done. You can think outside of the box there a little bit. Skills, and obviously these could change depending on what you're applying for. If you are fluent in a foreign language, it's a great thing to include on your resume. A lot of places really value bringing on candidates that have that. Leadership, like we've mentioned. Circle leaders, you're a participant in the Circles program, but as you've already seen, there's so many ways that you're gaining a lot of leadership experience here. That starts with you're leading a meeting with your allies every week, right? And there are skills that come from that. There's experience that comes from that. For moments where you've maybe helped plan an event or gotten up and shared on stage, like those kinds of experiences can be great things to draw from when you think about different jobs you're applying for and when you think about kind of positioning yourself, right? And then finally, community involvement, awards, recognition, volunteer experience, all really great things to consider including on your resume. All right, here are some suggestions of things maybe to not include. Depending on the circumstances, pictures, maybe if you're applying for something in like a creative space, maybe you would, but generally speaking, probably not. Charts or graphs, distracting colors or fonts, and then obviously personal details like your political affiliation or your religion, probably not relevant, right? Okay, another quick audience participation. A lot of wisdom in this room, like I already said. So let's hear some feedback. Why is a resume necessary? Yeah. What makes a resume effective?
I think it's effective when, rather than just looking at a Word doc comparing job to job, you can tell a lot about a person by the way they present their resume and how polished it is. You can tell kind of people's detail skills, if there's, clerical errors or like typos. To me, it's a way to compare apples to apples in a way that says more about them than just what they've done.
Yeah, great. Anything else?
I would say when you're making a resume, one of the things that's kind of tricky is kind of make it not too long, but not make it too short. And it depends on where you were at in your life. Because I went back and looked at the resume. Well, I used to mow grass for Uncle Will, and then when I went up, I just have way more pages to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think getting the right balance in the length of the resume makes it be more effective.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to skip a couple of slides here because we should look at this first. So this is another slide from last year, but I think it's an important thing to think about. So employers only spend, on average, 6 seconds looking at a resume before deciding to interview or to pass. Obviously, that's an average, right? But yeah, I mean that making sure that what you're putting in front of someone is highlighting what it needs to highlight early, concisely, making sure they don't have to dig, right? And then these are a few things that managers are looking for when they review candidates. So number one, by reading their resume, by reading your resume, by reading a cover letter, do you want the job? So sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes it's pretty, you can actually kind of tell. Can this candidate do the job? And then does this candidate possess the skills? All right. Yeah. So there are multiple types of resumes. For our purposes, we're just going to talk really quickly about hybrid or combination resumes, which are the most common and recommended. We really suggest kind of starting here. So these resumes highlight your valuable or related skills and experiences first, and then kind of go into more of a chronological work history. You might be able to exclude unrelated job roles in this. And this format's obviously beneficial if you're new to the workforce or if you're changing careers or re-entering the workforce and want to highlight skills that you have over kind of what you've been doing over the last few years, right? And then when thinking about skills to include on your resume, think about these two categories, hard skills and soft skills. So hard skills, these are technical skills that you've developed, trainings you've gone through, education you've received, certifications you've gotten, languages that you speak, right? And then soft skills, those are kind of transferable to any, could be applicable in any kind of job, but still really valuable to include, right? Work ethic, like I'm a hard worker, I'm dependable, I'm a great team player, good at problem solving, great under high pressure situations, really strong communication, those kinds of things, right? Hard skills, soft skills. All right. So at the top of your resume, you want to include a really brief, objective summary. It's called different things, but it's a 2 to 3 sentence summary at the top of your resume, kind of bringing everything together really quickly for whoever's reviewing your resume. If you remember doing in Circle Leader training when we did your story, that could be a great thing to go back to. Some of the things that you've journaled and kind of reflected on about yourself. You might go back and look at that and include that. By the way, is Adriana still in here? Do we have the binders? Okay, are they up here? Okay, thank you. And then also in your objective summary, it's a great place to highlight maybe a few of those top skills that you really want whoever's reviewing your resume to see above maybe all the other things that are in your resume, right? And I created this last night, and I'm going to push, wait, no, you have to push play. Go ahead and do it. So ChatGPT, a great tool. I would highly recommend giving it a try. So I, last night, typed it's kind of blurry. Is it blurry for you? Okay. I typed kind of like what I was, like a random objective summary. And this is literally how you could get ChatGPT to help you put that together. So I'm talking right now because my typing is painfully slow. So I'm trying to fill the airwaves. But as you can see, I'm just kind of throwing in a few things, write an objective summary for social work position, highlight my passion for helping people. I have a hard work ethic. What else am I putting? I forget. As well as my ability to something. truly empathize with people. I think I might add something else. Facing a crisis. Include, I'm reading it because to me it's blurry. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Include my completion of, I think I say my bachelor's in social work. And let's see what we get. There you go. Might be a little wordy, but gives you something to work with, right? So I'll switch to the next slide because I took a picture. Maybe. Can you hit, yeah. You might need to advance me to the next slide, Laura. This could be an executive summary. You might go through and, okay, there's some words in here that I wouldn't have necessarily chosen myself, right? Dedicated and compassionate social work professional with a bachelor's degree in social work and a strong commitment to making a positive impact in individuals' lives. Demonstrated ability to empathize deeply with individuals experiencing crisis and to provide effective support and intervention. Known for a diligent work ethic and genuine passion for helping others, seeking to leverage academic background and practical experience to contribute meaningfully to a dynamic social work team. Don't just sit and labor over a section of your resume. And this could apply to a lot of other things you might do. Use tools like this. Send your ideas hey, here's what I'd like to include, but send it to allies and get feedback, right? There's no reason to sit and kind of labor over a few sentences like that, which I know in school, I wrote papers and I did that. I sat there and I labored over 3 sentences sometimes. And it can be a big waste of time. So anyways, that's ChatGPT. I would highly recommend giving that a try. Tools for success. Let me catch up here. So Canva. In WhatsApp, I sent 2 links to Canva resume templates. Feel free to use those. They should be free. You may have to create an account, but it still should be free. And then you can actually build your resume right in there, put your information in, and have something that looks professional, looks nice. Strengths finders. So we're grabbing your binders and passing them around. You should have your strengths finders from training. And so that's another great tool. Look through those strengths. Read the descriptions of each of those strengths. In there are certainly some nuggets that you could pull out. If you're struggling to kind of think of some of those, maybe even just some of those soft skills, pull some of those things out. This is about positioning yourself. How are you unique? How are you going to bring value in a company or a job that you might be applying for, right? We just mentioned ChatGPT. And then, obviously, your allies and your circles network. So that includes all of us in this room, all other allies, all other circle leaders, all staff here. We're about building this kind of interconnected web of social capital. And there are a lot of people in here that could help you. And so use that network. If your allies are hey, I can help, but this isn't something I've necessarily done a lot. We have allies who have done reviewing resumes and kind of career coaching at more or less a professional level and could offer you some really valuable feedback. So let us know if you want that. So delegate, right? Looking around your group, someone could type, right? If you feel I just need to speak what's kind of in my head, and maybe somebody could sit there and type things out for you so that you don't have to do that, right? Someone could help make it look good. So think about how to use the support that's in this room. Okay. So this is what we're going to do tonight. Our goal tonight is to end the night with a resume draft. We want you to work with your allies to either update if you have one or to maybe use one of those templates. We've also printed them out, so if you don't want to get on Canva and you want to do your own thing, those templates are printed out and are on the tables with you, and so you can refer to those to kind of see what that looks like, to have your skills kind of highlighted closer to the top, and then maybe your education, previous work experiences either over to the side or maybe further down. But we want you to end up with a draft by the end of tonight. And then once you have a draft, we'd like for you to submit that to us for feedback. And we can again, like we can access people that are in this room. We might be able to access some former allies for that. But we would love to give you some feedback on it and help you make that thing really, really effective. And then we'd like for you to also start or update, if you have a LinkedIn, start a LinkedIn or update a LinkedIn and connect with literally everyone in this room. There's a start of a network on LinkedIn and just professionally for you already in this room. So go ahead and connect. We'll connect with you, and we'll kind of build that web in that way as well. That's another one of those things that a lot of times employers will look at. So having your LinkedIn kind of built out and reflecting those things that are on your resume, and then building up that network there as well, can be a really powerful thing to do. So with that. Before we jump in, are there any just like burning questions real quick before we get started? Does that sound good? Great. Okay. Well, Lynette and Laura are going to be in here and kind of available to walk around and answer any questions that you have. But we're going to give you guys kind of the rest of the night to just dig in and start working on this. So yeah, let's get to it.